What's up you guys and welcome back. I'm FPL Nymphria and this is my FPL Wildcard Game Week 34 review and double Game Week 35 preview video. My Game Week Wildcard was an absolute horror show. I'll only relive it just for you guys, so here goes. Fabianski, after all his time in my team, made way for the double Game Week Ryan. I needn't have bothered as they got the same amount of points, despite Ryan having 2 games. Absolutely shocking stuff. I was sceptical after putting my trust in Duffy in one double game week already this season if I should bother doing the same again. Well, I kind of followed the community and unfortunately it did not pay off. Thankfully, my getting burnt earlier on in the season did at least put me off captaining the Duffman because he carried in just 1 point for owners, despite captaining himself in his own FPL team. I mean, awkward. Now, I considered the idea of switching Robbo to Trent as a cheaper alternative, and I still might do that, but I had the cash in this wildcard team, so I see no immediate reason why I should switch the two. I also got talked out of the switch a bit, with people saying Trent is the most likely candidate to be rotated, so Robbo remained. And despite not getting the extra bonus point that Trent did, I am still thankful I kept Robertson despite his single tough fixture against Chelsea, and I'm grateful for the clean sheet and 6 points. Lastly, in my last minute wisdom and panic, I felt the need to do something different in defence. Struggling to get to Laporte for price and not sure about City's tough fixtures, I decided to look at defender form. Once the idea of an Everton defender got into my head, I then struggled to look past having one in my wildcard team, especially when they had 5 clean sheets in the last 7 games before their matchup with Fulham. Digne also loves the odd assist. Unfortunately, much like most of my wildcard team, Digne was a letdown with just 1 point. Seems I missed the Evertonian defensive form and I'm now stuck with a single game week player against Man United. That is not ideal. Moving on to my midfield, and let's start with Jota. Just the 2 points from him. I was a bit disappointed given the fact Jota had a shot off target, a shot on target, and he couldn't grab a little something else for me. I was expecting a bit more fight from Wolves in general, to be fair, after leaving the Cup. I had hoped they would kick on despite whichever team they faced in the Premier League. Now, I could have gone all out on the double game week 35 midfield players, but I decided to stick with at least one Liverpool midfielder. I probably should have kept both looking at it now, especially as Salah and Mane have both been great for me over the past few weeks. But at least I kept one and Mane got me a goal and 9 points for my loyalty. He had 2 shots on target and 1 off target, 2 key passes and a 90.6% pass rate. I'm not ruling out bringing Salah back in despite him not having a double. I did thankfully at least do one thing with my wildcard, which was leave enough cash in the bank to do that. One of the only things I feel I really did in following my gut. Unlike getting in double Spurs midfielders. That wasn't high on my priority list and definitely was more of a community persuasion. It wasn't looking great, I have to admit, but they did deliver in the dying minutes of the match. Eriksen and Son both getting an assist. Thankfully they did, especially Sonny, as I happened to have him as captain, and with holding on to Vardy as my vice, I was very worried when Sonny was benched and it looked very unlikely he'd get on the field. But 3 minutes was all Sonny needed to push the tempo of the match and grab a return. Then we have my forwards. As I've just mentioned, after his heroics last week, the Vardy party was obviously a little more of a hangover this game week, and despite being at home to Newcastle and having a shot on and off target with a big chance missed, he got me just the 2 points. Now, not being content with one Wolves player, I doubled up as Jota let me down, so did Jimenez. To be honest, given how the rest of my game week went, Jimenez's yellow card was, well, not a surprise really. A 1 pointer from him, and I am now a little concerned about having 2 going forward. And last but not least, we have Aguero. Despite a key pass and a shot on and off target, Aguero did again not seem back to his best, and just the 2 points from him. And it will be a bit of a wait and see to see what happens midweek with him, whether or not I keep hold. So after all of that, I finished finished on a very red arrow and back outside the top 100k. I got 39 points, that's 15 below the average, and I'm currently sat at 127,176 in OR. A teeny bit frustrating when you consider my previous team got 57 points without double points for a chosen captain, so leaving my team as it was probably the better shout. And I'm learning a lot this season. I will definitely be following my own gut next season, that is for sure. On my bench, I didn't strengthen as much as I would have liked, as discussed in my previous video, all of them bringing me just 2 points except for Mariappa, who didn't even play. And for those keeping track of my team budget, I currently have 104.6 in team value. So now onto my Game Week 35 team, and this is how my Game Week 35 team sets up as of now. However, I messed up a bit on this wildcard. As you've seen, it wasn't great, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I had a super busy week and I left my team until quite late on Friday afternoon. I panicked and I didn't really make a team I was particularly happy with. More like a team I should make, you know, for people to see. And I'm not just saying that because it didn't go well, it's just the honest truth. But because of that, I am happy to take a hit to correct it. In fact, I have put together a -16 team I'd be happy with. However, before I go full on batshit crazy, I need to see how the midweek games go. As I'm recording this video early in the week, I'm not yet aware of who made it through in the Champions League match between Spurs and City. If Spurs manage to knock out City, I may like to up Eriksen to say somebody like Sterling and keep Salah in the back pocket for later on. Given City will be all out on the league and Spurs might manage the minutes. I also need to see how Aguero is and if Valerie is fit. Right now my bench doesn't look strong enough for the planned bench boost, but if I do take a hit, that might change. As I say, Salah is also not far from my mind. In truth, this will come down to the wire. It will be late in the week before I know what transfers I'm doing, but I am hoping it will be something that makes me feel a bit happier about this team. It is a game after all, and I wish to try and enjoy what's left of it with players I want to get behind for the last bit of the season. And there is no harm in that. Even if they do badly, at least you've got players you can get behind and you feel like you want in your team. And that's it, you guys. Please, if you've enjoyed my content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you can place your vote for me in the Football Blogging Awards, I'd be extremely grateful. Not long left now to cast your revote, and they all count. So if you've done it once, thank you so much, but if you feel like doing it again, thank you 20 times as much. I'll let you guys know what I decide to do with my team via my usual social media channels, Twitter and Instagram, and you can catch how I got on in my next video. It's not looking great right now, so we're just going to have a bit of fun with it. Anyway, please support me by joining the Fancy Football Hub with my code in the description below as always, and feel free to check out my sponsors fancyfootballfix.com. And until next time, Nymphria out.